Hey everyone, today I've got your Regression movie review. A detective and a psychoanalyst uncover evidence of a satanic cult while investigating the rape of a traumatized teenager. As far as the story goes, Alejandro Amenabar directs this semi-horror film that might have a sensitive subject, but the execution of that whole storyline, it isn't what it appears to be. Although he did direct one of my favorite horror movies of all time, The Others, I feel like Regression doesn't even hold a candle to that movie. So I feel like if you have seen that and then you see this, you're probably going to be disappointed in the end. The only reason for that is because the tension in this movie and also the scares just didn't really cut it for me. And I feel like I should be disappointed considering that this did look like a very interesting movie from the first time I saw the trailer, from the first time I heard who was being cast in this movie, and it seemed like it could be a different type of movie, even though you would see some of these actors in potential horror movies, in their film career. As far as the casting goes, you've got Emma Watson, who plays this girl that had something happen to her, and she's trying to seek help from Ethan Hawke, who plays the detective in this movie. And though she does portray a very damaged character, and you would probably feel sympathetic towards her, I feel like, she could definitely do a lot better for a horror movie. This is the first time I've seen her in a horror film. I feel like maybe this wasn't the right fit for her, though there is another movie coming out that's kind of got this horror-ish vibe to it, but I'm not exactly sure. Colonia is the name of that movie that Emma Watson's going to be in, which I think looks like a much more satisfying film than this. I am much looking forward to that movie. I do feel like she had a lot of emotion to her character. It's just very unfortunate that she was in this movie. Though you would think Ethan Hawke, because he was in that first Sinister movie, of course he can be in another horror movie, but we all know how Sinister turned out, and even worse, the crappy sequel that it got. And I feel like for his characters to not really step out of his comfort zone, and he didn't really handle his scenes as well as I hoped he would. I mean, he kind of had to deal with the horrors of this whole story that the girl was telling, and having to come across all of these really creepy people, really find his character to be believable. You've got David Thewlis, who I do love as an actor. I think he does pick some interesting roles, though I feel like he was very overshadowed in this movie and very downplayed with his character, so I can't really say that his character was particularly memorable. I mean, I did see this movie quite a while ago, and I do feel like his role, was an interesting one, and he did have some good lines, but I just feel like in the end, I really could care less about his character. The things that I did like about this movie, obviously, to have this be considered a horror movie, you had to have some creepy and disturbing scenes. I definitely cringed watching some of these more darker scenes, or where there's like these creepy people showing up in like this nightmarish setting. And I feel like those were the only types of scenes that stood out to me, or there's this like creepy woman that, might be a part of this cult, and she's trying to supposedly come in contact with Ethan Hawke's character. I don't really know. It was just really confusing and weird all at the same time. But unfortunately, the things that I didn't really like about this movie, right off the bat, from the very beginning, it was very slow moving. The pacing, I just felt like that's the reason why I don't really like movies like that, especially when it doesn't get into the story right away, especially the good parts, if there are many, which there were. The jump scares were not that scary. I'm not too surprised, considering that even a movie like The Others, it did have some jump scares, but very little, but at least that movie was much more satisfying. than this, and I feel like I would have been creeped out had certain things been handled properly, and they weren't. And if this movie was intended to make me think that it was supposed to end sometime soon, it should have ended a long time ago, and maybe not make me feel like this movie was 2 hours long, maybe even 3. It just felt like a generic movie and not even a horror movie, so it was obviously going to be forgetful. Overall, I would say that Regression made me regret seeing this movie when I saw it, and I don't think I can recommend seeing this movie. There are definitely better movies with performances by these actors. So I would give this 1.5 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of Regression. And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel and cover movie reviews, movie updates, come back every week for a Chill Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. And I will see you guys